We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Lamed Daled Amud Aleph in Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 134a. On the previous Amud, the Gemara brought a brisa. There was a person whose children were not acting properly, so he gave over all of his property to Yonasan ben Uziel. Yonasan ben Uziel then sold a third of the property. He was makdish 1/3 of the property, and 1/3 he actually gave back to the children. Shammai was upset about this, so Yonasan ben Uziel said to Shammai, if you're able to repossess that which I sold and that which I made hektish, so then you can take away also that which I gave to the children. But if you're not able to do that, which of course you're not able to do that, so you're also not able to repossess that which I returned to this individual's children. Amar, so Shammai said to that, Hetiach olai ben Uziel, you have reprimanded me, ben Uziel, Essentially, he conceded Yonasan ben Uziel's point. And the Gemara continues, Meikara my Savar, originally what did Shammai hold that he was protesting what Yonasan ben Uziel did? And the Gemara answers, Misham Maisa de Beis Choron, it's because of the incident that happened in Beis Choron. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah and Meseches Nedorim, Maisa be Beis Choron be'echad shaya aviv muder heimenu hana. There was an incident in Beis Choron where there was an individual whose father took an oath that he would not get any hana, he wouldn't derive any benefit from his son. And this son was marrying off his own son. And the son wanted his father to come to the wedding, but of course, again, the problem is that the father was muder hana, the father was not able to get any benefit from the son, so how could he come to this wedding of his grandson? So v'yomer l'chaveiro, so the son said to his friend, Harei chotzeru su'uda nesunin loch b'matana, the courtyard and the meal, I'm giving it all to you as a gift. V'yenon lefanech, and the only reason they are before you, the only reason that I'm giving it to you, ela kedei sheyavu abba v'yochel imanu b'suda, it's just so that my father should be able to come and eat with us at the meal, that way it's your meal, and it's not my meal. Amar lo, so the friend said back to him, Im shalihein, if it's truly mine, harehin mukdashan lashamayim, so I sanctify it to heavens, and he made it all hektish. Amar lo, he said back to him, Lo nasati l'cha ela shali es shali shetakdishim lashamayim. I never gave that to you that you should be able to make it hektish. I only gave it to you in order that my father should be able to come. Amar lo, so he said back to him, Lo nasata li es shalcha ela shetei atava avicha ochlin v'shosin umeratzin zelozeh. The only reason you gave me what was yours was so that you and your father should be able to eat and drink and get along with each other. V'hei avo natali baroshu, and then the sin is going to be on his head, meaning the sin is going to be on my head because I'm going to have allowed to circumvent this issue of muder hana. And so the Mishnah concludes, Amru Chachamim, the Chachamim said, Kol matana she'ina, shem hekdisha mukdeshes eina matana. Any gift that if the person would sanctify it, it would not be hektish, that's not called a gift. Essentially, the Chachamim said that in this situation where he tried to give a gift, but the gift was limited in the sense that the person is not allowed to make it hektish, that would not be considered a good gift, and it would not circumvent the issue of muder hana. And the Gemara is saying the same thing is true over here. Originally, Shammai thought that the gift to Yonasan ben Uziel was not a true gift because it was just to prevent this person's children from inheriting his estate. But then when Shammai saw that Yonasan ben Uziel was able to be makdish what was given to him, that shows that it was a true matana, and therefore Shammai no longer protested. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Tanu Rabbanon, the rabbis taught, Shmonim Talmidim Hayu Lo LeHillel Hazaken. There were 80 students to Hillel the elder. Shloshim Mehen Ru'uyim Shetishra Alein Shechina K'Moshe Rabbeinu. 30 of them they were fit that the Shechina should rest upon them, like Moshe Rabbeinu. Shloshim Mehen Ru'uyim Shetamud Lehen Chamo Ki Yoshua ben Nun. 30 of them they were fit that the sun should stop for them, like Yoshua ben Nun. Esrim Beinonim. 20 of them were average. Gadol Shebekulan Yonasan ben Uziel. The greatest of the students was Yonasan ben Uziel. Katan Shebekulan Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, and the smallest of them was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Amru Olav al Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, they said about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Shelo Hiniach, that he did not neglect Mikra, Mishnah, Gemara, the learning of Psukim, the learning of Mishnayos, the learning of Gemara, Halachos v'Agados, the learning of Halacha and Agadata, Dikduke Torah, learning from extra letters in the Torah, V'Dikduke Sofrim, and the Gezeros of the Chachamim, and V'Kalin V'Chamurin, and Kal V'Chomer, Gezeros Shavos, and Gezeros Shaves, Usakufos, and understanding the cycle of the moon, Gematrios, and Gematrias, Umeshalos Kovsim, and the parables of launderers, Umeshalos Shualim, and the parables of foxes, Sichas Shedim, the conversations of demons, V'Sichas Dekolim, the conversations of the palm trees, V'Sichas Malachi Ashares, and the conversations of the Malachim, V'Davar Gadol, V'Davar Katan, and he did not neglect the great things, and he did not neglect the small things. Davar Gadol, what are the great things? Maisa Merkava, that refers to the Maisa Merkava and Sefer Yecheskel. V'Davar Katan, and the small things, Havayos de Abaya v'Rava, the conversations of Abaya and Rava. L'kayim Mashenemer, this fulfills what it says in the Pasuk, and this is a Pasuk in Mishlei, Lahanchil Ohavayesh, to bequeath to those who love me something of substance, V'Otzrosehem Amali, and I'll fill their storehouses. And the Gemara says, now if the smallest among them was so great, if Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was so great, Gadol shebekulam alachas kama v'kama, how much more so the greatest among them. Amru olav al Yonasan ben Uziel, they said about Yonasan ben Uziel, who was the greatest of them, B'shah sheyoshev v'osik b'Torah, at the time that he was sitting and learning Torah, Kalov sheporeach olav nisraf, any bird that flew over him would be burned. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Ha'omer zeh b'ni nemon, if somebody says, this is my son, he is believed. Zeh achi, if he says, this is my brother, eino nemon, he's not believed. But the Mishnah says, v'yitol ima b'chelko, but he does take from his portion, meaning this individual that we're not sure if he's a brother or not, he can't take from the other brothers, but he can take a portion from the brother who testified that he is a brother. Mace, now if this brother dies, yachzru nechasim l'makomon, so the property returns to their original place, meaning it's not distributed among all the brothers, since this individual that we were not sure about took from only one brother's share, it goes back to that one brother. And the Mishnah continues, naflu lo nechasim mimakom acher. Now let's say this individual we weren't sure about, he gets property from some other place and then he dies. So now the question is, who inherits that new property? So yershu echav imo, there all of the brothers inherit together with him, meaning all of the brothers get a share, not just the person who testified that this person was a brother, but all of the brothers now can inherit from this individual. And the Rashbam explains, ha'omer zeh b'ni nemon, if somebody says, this is my son, he's believed. B'gemar mefarish l'mahilchas, so the Gemara will explain what this is referring to practically. Zeh achi eino nemon, if he says, this is my brother, he's not believed. L'horisho imechav, he's not believed in order that this person should be able to inherit together with the other brothers. Sharei einon makirno, so because the other brothers don't recognize him. Kidim mefarish b'gemar, as the Gemara will explain. V'yitol ima v'chelko, but this person who's a suffix is able to take from the portion of the brother who testified about him that he is a brother. Kagon, for example, im shnayim hein levad hasafik. Let's say there are two brothers besides for the person that we're not sure about. V'yeshlan lachlo gimel sados, and let's say there's a total of 3 fields. So zen notel sadu mechsa, zen notel sadu mechsa. So the two brothers that we know about, each one takes 1.5 fields. V'nosei nezeh hameir al achiv hasafik, and the one who's testifying about his brother, who is the suffix shuachav, and he's saying that this suffix is also a brother, so he's going to give hachatzi sada, he's going to give him a half of a field. Tahachi kamarle, because this is what he's saying to him. Vaday achiata, I know for sure you are my brother. V'yeshlach litol sada achas min hashalosh, and therefore I feel you should get one of the 3 fields. Really, every one of us should be entitled to one whole field. So therefore, v'chatzi asada sheyeshli mechelkacha etein lach, therefore half of the field that I have, that's really your portion, I'll give to you. I'm going to give to you half of what you're supposed to get. V'chatzi acher biyad achihu, but that other half, that's in the hands of my brother. Have l'charaya v'tol. To get that, you have to bring evidence in order to get it. So I'm going to give you from my portion what you're entitled to, but the other part of your portion, you'll have to bring evidence. Meis hasafik. Now let's say the person who was in doubt died, so yachzor nechasim shenasan lamechelko lemekomon. The property that he gave him from his portion goes back to where they were originally. Kilomar lemisha nasnam lo, meaning it goes back to the brother who gave it to him. Aval shar achin, but the rest of the brothers ein yorshemimo, they don't inherit together with him. Diyamar lehu hai, because that brother can say to them, harei achzaktem benachala haruya lo lesafik me'avinu, you already took from the inheritance that was fit to go to the suffix from our father. Osa tululachem, take that. Sharei lo mochalachem chelko, he hasn't been mochel to you, he didn't forgive to you his portion. V'akati ad hashta b'toras gezel yeshna b'yedchem, really you've been stealing it all along until now. V'atat tirshu oso chelik minadin, so now you'll be able to inherit that portion justly. V'gam ani irash chelki shenasati lo, and I'm going to take my portion which I gave to him, which I was supposed to give. Kimoke, in the same way, tinimtzinu kulanu shavin benachala, so in that way we're all equal in terms of his inheritance. And the Rashbam continues, nafla lo yerusha l'safik b'chayiv. Now let's say the person who is a suffix, he gets an inheritance during his lifetime imakam acher from a different place, or maybe he bought property, v'achshav mason, now he died, yirshu echav shel meir imo, so then the brothers of the person who testified do get to inherit along with him, because he admits to them, he's saying that it really is their brother, and therefore they share in the portion. And the Gemara says, Zebni Namon, again the Mishnah said that if a person testifies, this is my son, he's believed, Lamai Hilchasa, for what practical halach is this relevant? Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says Liyarsho, number 1, to inherit him. We do believe that it's his son and he gets the inheritance. And also, V'liftor es ishto min hayibam, it also exempts his wife from yibam. The halach is there's no yibam if they have children, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Lamed Dalid Amud Beis.